Hey everyone, just wanted to let you know there's going to be some bonus content at the end of this episode as we typically do. So stick around after the episode is over to hear a little bit of us goofing around. And in the meantime, enjoy this episode on Joywave's Content and Noah Baumbach's The Meyerowitz Stories New and Selected. Enjoy! Hello everybody, welcome to a podcast. This podcast is called One for the Other, and in this podcast, there's going to be two of us. One is me, Josh.
One is me, Lane.
And together, we talk about stuff. We're going to talk about a movie. We're going to talk about a record. And then we're going to just find other ones to do. But that'll be later. So, that's the podcast. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back. It's been a while. We're glad to have you. And we are going to talk about stuff this week. I had the record this week, so I don't really have a big story for it. It is a 2017 release by indie-tronica band Joywave called Content. So Lane, what were your thoughts on Content?
Is it content or content?
It is Content. I've looked it up multiple times.
Okay, cool. That's good to know. Content. Okay, this record is really, how do I say this? It's interesting. It has so I made a prediction after I listened to the first song on the record. I was like, okay, this is gonna have some really cool ideas, but I think a couple things are gonna hold back their really cool ideas. One of the aspects that's gonna hold them back is their songwriting and how they haven't fully developed in their songwriting and their aesthetic. And two, the production and how to use production in a valuable way to, enhance the listening experience. And I was kind of exactly right, I feel like.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parts in this record that paint a picture. So, see, this album is kind of confusing to me as well, because, like, a lot of records don't need to be aesthetically cohesive all the way through, and they can have different, they can explore different genres, they can do this, they can do that. But I feel like this album's purpose was to portray kind of like a cohesive message and a cohesive, set of ideas, and it kept going everywhere. It kept going from, electronic pop to, very psychedelic Tame Impala to, the last song in the record, it goes straight to, like, background music in a lounge. And then it goes, like, in the same song, it goes back to that psychedelia. And then it goes here and then it goes there. And it seems like a lot of people had a lot of influence on the songwriting. And you can tell.
That's interesting. I hadn't totally noticed that, but I do kind of see it does kind of go all over the place and doesn't quite, it's like not as cohesive as I almost would like. What did you mean by not utilizing production? I thought that was interesting. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, so basically, the first track, in particular, that's the one that kind of triggered that thought in my head. Is like, oh, I don't know if production is going to be like, it's going to be serviceable, but it's not going to serve the, I don't know. It's not going to serve the purpose that this album wants.
Right. So if you could improve this record, like, what would you do?
I wouldn't put so much shit on it. There's a lot of layers that you don't even hear, and a lot of instrumentation that you don't even hear, and there's weird vocal parts and weird vocal modulations, and this and that, and there's like this harp in the background on one of the songs I can't remember, and it's like they're trying to do like this Phil Spector kind of approach to production where it's like the wall of sound, but it just kind of sounds abrasive, and this album should not sound abrasive for what it really is. Mm-hmm. In its bare bones form, it's an indie rock record, with the verse chorus bridge, structure, and then, God, my fucking nose. They have, really. God, this album is so confusing. It has really, really catchy choruses. These guys have a knack for writing a catchy ass indie pop chorus.
Oh yeah.
And that's their strength throughout this whole record. Is just like, oh shit, it gets to the chorus and it's like, oh yeah, jam it. And then it goes back to the verse and it's like, oh, well, we're back to this, huh? It's a lot of it's just a lot of shit, and it doesn't need a lot of shit.
Yeah, so you would simplify it. You think this record would be
Yes.
better with simplified. That's interesting.
I think, I'm trying to think of this song. I don't know.
Okay, well, how about like Confidence, the like little interlude in the middle it's 48 seconds, just him and the piano. How did you feel about that song?
That felt pretentious. You don't need an interlude right there. It's kind of stupid.
Yeah, I don't really care about the song, good or bad. It's short enough to just pass over. But it's in the wrong place. Like,
yeah, definitely.
And then straight to like Doubt, and in between you have this weird. I don't know. Like, put it at the end, like Still Together, on I think 2 by Mac DeMarco. That song is very similar, but it like closes out the album.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems that I had with this record was the closing song and how it ends. It just fucking ends.
Yeah.
Like what you don't get to do that. You don't deserve to just cut your tape, Like, you're Joywave, you're not the fucking Beatles, man. You got to prove your shit before you do some pretentious shit like that.
Wow. Some spicy words coming out here.
Yeah, and there's some other things that really rub me the wrong way. I don't know which song it is. Is it the last song? No. Where is it? What's the song where he says the vibe is wrong? It has like that first section, and then the second section where it's like really bare bones and it sounds like shit, and then the vibe is wrong.
I want to say that's
going to a place.
Oh,
it's going to a place. Yeah, it's going to a place. That's like one of the only lyrics that I like picked up.
Yeah.
And actually wrote down. And I was like, dude, the vibe is wrong.
Okay, but
Shut
this
the
was
fuck up.
3 years ago.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit.
No one said vibe. I saw them when they toured this record, and no one said vibe. So now it's weird, but like, I can't really blame them.
You can't blame them for saying the vibe is wrong?
Yes.
I don't know. Make it more... the vibe is wrong.
Well, it's dumb now because the word vibe has lost all its meaning, but I don't think when they wrote it,
well, I
didn't
say vibe in 2017. You didn't either. We probably said it ironically in 2017.
I don't think we really said it at all in 2017.
So why are they?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't overused.
But it's still stupid. It sounds stupid objectively, no matter what time period it was conceived in. It could have been written in 1987, and it's like, okay, the vibe is wrong. You couldn't find any other lyric to portray your feeling. The vibe is wrong.
Nah, dude, the vibe's just wrong.
It is kind of funny, but it's also like, fuck you.
Yeah, that is one of the only lyrics that I really hate on this album. It's just, the vibe is wrong. But I really like that song, Going to a Place. I think it's an interesting, like, what they're saying of, like, Hollywood and all that, and, being in a place where you're living entirely for your image and nothing else. You're trying to just construct the image, and the comparison they make to a hologram. I think that's a really interesting comparison when they don't talk about vibes.
Going to a Place is an interesting song because it has two separate aspects. So I'm talking about like the first section in the song. It has two aspects: the instrumentation and the vocals on their own, in their own right. They sound good. Like when they're vamping in the instrumental or when it's a vocal break, like they sound good. But when it's combined, somehow it doesn't work. I don't know. I think it's the rhythm of the riff or whatever. It just doesn't work with like the really, really legato, long, dreary vocals on this track. So that's why I'm so confused with this record. It's because it has so much potential and it has like a lot of good shit, but it's like combined in the wrong places and it's put in the wrong places and it makes my brain itch. I want to itch my brain.
That's funny. I just generally enjoyed the album. Like, it's got that nice like danceability that comes with the electronic aspects. I enjoy their songwriting. I can see how it could still be developed, definitely.
Yeah.
But I think there are definitely some great moments. I think that the going all over is kind of interesting because you do see, so much stuff. You get to like Rumors, and it's like you have this almost chip tune backing track, like something you would expect off of like that one. It's like that one Bjork song. It's all chip tune and stuff.
I can't think of it. There's so many Bjork songs.
The one. Clearly, I know a lot
song?
about Bjork.
Yeah, I think that's the ultimate takeaway from this record is that these guys need to hone their soundwriting, hone their aesthetic image, and hone, their playing and their songwriting as a whole, I think.
Yeah.
Like the riff on what is that? On Doubt. The riff on Doubt, the guitar riff, it sounds unfinished. Like it sounds like they wrote half a riff and we're just like, yeah, that sounds good enough. And it's like, if you're going to write riff-based indie rock, you need to flesh out some dope-ass danceable riffs. And that one just sounds like they wrote half a riff and called it good. But yeah, just I think they have a lot of potential. I think they just need to hone their craft and get a good producer next time.
Yeah. And will you listen to their next album a bit, Possession? Did you kind of see that growth there at all? Did you see them taking those steps?
Yeah, I actually did. So here's a funny story. So I completely forgot which Joywave album we were going to listen to this week. And all this week I was listening to their newest record, Possession, and not this one. So I texted Josh on Thursday and I was like, we're listening to Possession this week, right? And he's like, fucking no, we're listening to Content. And I was like, shit, I've been listening to the wrong record the whole week.
We're professionals.
Yeah, we're professionals. Moral of the story, write shit down. Just write the shit down.
We'll talk about writing shit down when we get to the movie because I have a funny story about that too. But yeah, so I'm glad that you did see that. I haven't listened to Possession as much. I do enjoy Joywave. I actually have Content on vinyl. But yeah, I was following the hype for Possession. This album was hyped for so long. I mean, they had singles out for probably a year before it dropped. So
oh damn,
I should probably listen to it.
You call yourself a fan?
Oh yeah?
Come on.
I saw them live.
Yeah, when they opened for Bastille.
Nuh-uh, they opened for Young the Giant. They were actually very first opener. Then the Cold War Kids came on. And then Young the Giant.
Same thing.
But I was there.
Young the Giant. I was there, man.
I was there. They put up a curtain that
from the fucking beginning.
They had a curtain that had the cover, but they had to take it down because it was too windy because it was at Red Rocks. You have anything else for this album?
Not really. Just keep trying. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
Keep shaking your dick.
Something I would like to see more is just more in general. This album is like surprisingly short.
Yeah, and the sections are short, and the ideas are kind of short as well. That's what I kind of notice is like they go from one idea to another so fast. It's like it doesn't impact you as hard as it should.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I believe we should rate this album. And I am
Si, senor.
so curious as to how you're going to rate this.
Yeah. See, I'm even confused on how I'm reading this, but I think there's enough good and there's enough bad, but I'm going to be a little generous. I'm going to rate it a 6 out of 10.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with a 7. Like I said, I did generally enjoy it, but also I didn't quite listen to this all week just because I eventually got like a little bit tired. I think just because it's so short that I was able to consume it so many times on repeat. So I think it's, and it's kind of, not the biggest brain stuff,
Yeah.
Like you said, they could do
simple.
way more with it. So it's like, it's almost there. But 7.
Totally
Alright.
fair.
Well, now we move to the tier list.
See, I didn't open that.
You are fuck.
I am big fuck, man.
You are half fuck. Professionals, okay?
Yes.
Please, serious business inquiries only. I want to put
I'd be willing to put it above Best Buds.
What about one higher?
Above Velvet Underground?
Yeah.
God. We both rated the Velvet Underground like not that high,
Yeah.
and like it feels like a morally wrong thing to rate the Joywave record above. Oh, jeez. Like my own personal morals are getting in the way of that.
But did you enjoy listening to more?
I don't know. I didn't really like either of them. Well, there were aspects that I liked, but as an overall...
I'm trying to think of an argument for either way, but I can't think of any.
We're at this point in the tier list where it's like, I don't fucking care. Like, I don't really know or care. Just fuck it. Put it above it. I don't give a shit.
All right. Good beans.
Good beans?
Yeah, not bad beans.
Bean.
Beans? Y'all MF's got beans?
This motherfucker's eating beans. All right, everybody, let's move on to the film part of the podcast. I had the responsibility of picking the movie this week, and I picked a movie that is very near and dear to my heart. It's also a 2017 release. It's debuted at Cannes.
Oh, you mean Cannes?
Can't, whatever.
It's France.
In France.
Pamplemousse. Lesbian.
It's written and directed by Noah Baumbach. It's the Meyerowitz stories, new and selected. If you know the name Noah Baumbach, it's probably because he wrote and directed Marriage Story, which was far more successful than this movie. But I feel like this movie does not get enough attention as it is. Yeah, I fucking love this movie, but I'm interested to see what Josh thought about it.
This movie didn't quite hit it for me. It didn't. I was excited. I was like, Noah Baumbach, that's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I was like, this should be interesting. You said it would be good, but I don't know. It just didn't quite. It didn't quite make it all the way there for me. It felt. I think I haven't seen Marriage Story necessarily, so I can't comment on Noah Baumbach's like style and all that. But this felt very derivative of like Wes Anderson, I think, and I like the note that I had that I think is the most all-encompassing is it's kind of like Walmart brand Royal Tenenbaums.
Really? That's the impression you got?
Yeah, just like the family aspect of it. I don't know. It just didn't connect with me. Like I was sitting there through these big moments, but I don't know. There was something that just wasn't there, and everything was going for it. Like, you know, I really liked how it was shot, and the characters, but I don't know, something about it just wasn't connecting. I think I'm broken.
Yeah, I think you have a fluid in your brain because your dog knocked you over.
He pulled me.
So here's why I love this movie. It's primarily the dialogue.
Really?
And primarily how the dialogue characterizes like the whole family and each individual aspect in the family. So, when Ben Stiller's character Matt and Dustin Hoffman's character Harold, they're father and son, they're having lunch together, and they're talking over each other, and they're trying to one up one another, and they're making like this petty conflict and tension between the two of them, which ultimately culminates in the conflict when Harold leaves and Ben Stiller's character Matthew is fucking yelling at his old fucking dad. And he's like, I fucking beat you, I did this, I did that. And it's the talking over each other, it's the really quick, fast-paced, back and forth banter between one another, and how every character is always talking about something. Like it doesn't have to be, about the situation at hand. It's just it feels very slice of life, and it feels very real to me because it's just talking about bullshit. It's repeating the same stories. It's repeating the same jokes. It's doing this, it's doing that. It's telling, different stories. It's and news in the family. And I don't know. I think the way this portrays dysfunction in a family and different dynamics within a family, I think kind of nails it on the head. I think it's fucking fantastic.
I think you're fucking stupid. So,
wow. Fuck you, friend.
The dialogue was like one of my least favorite parts of this movie because
you suck. What the fuck?
Okay.
Explain yourself.
So this is also part of why it feels like a Walmart brand Wes Anderson movie. Is because they all
it's not even close to Wes Anderson. It's
is.
not even.
They all talk
no, it's not.
Like robots. Like these.
No,
weird...
they don't.
Yes, they
Have
do.
you watched the movie?
Yeah, I watched
Go back
it,
and watch a
10
Wes
minutes
Anderson
before we
movie,
started
and they
recording.
talk like literal cyborgs. They
That's
talk
how
like literal cyborgs.
That is exactly how Harold talks. He is so weird and talks like nothing, and they just randomly talk about stuff. But the reason that I like it in like the Wes Anderson movies is everything is fantastical. The camera work even makes it like that. It's like it doesn't feel real. But this movie is so grounded in reality and these very real problems, and the way they talk took me out of it so much. Like the slice of life thing I didn't get at all because it always felt like there was so much like they didn't feel like real people. Like the Royal Tenenbaums, I mean, it was such a comparison to, because like Jean is just like Margot in that movie, and there's like all this stuff where it's like, you have transplanted this dialogue style into a totally different setting, and it doesn't work as well because now it feels like characters doing this, and it feels like they're like caricatures of themselves. And then they like get back together and they're all friends again at the end, and it's not like, I don't know, it doesn't feel as natural or whatever. Like Ben Stiller starts breaking down and it looks super fake.
What? Like when he's doing the toast at the thing?
Yeah.
That's a really good performance.
No,
that's
fake.
Super good. Oh my god. Like, okay, and that confrontation with Adam Sandler and Ben Stiller. Like, you think you would see that in a fucking Wes Anderson movie?
No, I'm saying that...
Like, people yelling at each other and fucking fighting each other?
Yeah, Fantastic Mr. Fox.
No, they're not... No.
Yeah.
When does that happen in Fantastic Mr. Fox?
All the time. They're constantly fighting. They go into the big
Yeah, because it's a fucking cartoon.
Listen, I'm saying that the way they talk isn't normal. You need to talk to real human beings again.
I do talk to human beings every fucking day, and
Me
people
too.
talk about random shit
But they don't talk like
all
that.
the time.
Listen to Harold
Yes, they
talk
do.
again. He's like,
have you listened to
so
like
brazen.
intellectual like art people? That's exactly how they fucking talk.
Not all the time, and it's his. Everyone talks like that. They just
You remember
brazenly-
those scenes in Blue is the Warmest Color?
Yes.
That's how they all fucking talked. Every single one of those art people talked like that for the whole fucking movie.
But they were like talking to each other, like, and no one talks to anyone in this movie. They just talk at each other, and it's just this like thing where everyone is talking on their own thing. It's like the beginning of Social Network, but it's the whole movie, and it's so hard to feel like they're creating connections between each other because the whole time they're just talking at each other, and like they barely have conversations, which is like part of the dysfunctionality. Is like no one really listens to each other, but like. I don't enjoy that as a viewer. I don't find that interesting to watch because I'm just watching two people talk over each other having different conversations, and I think the lack of a score makes it so the tension doesn't build as much as I think they would have liked. Like when Matt and Danny are walking out of the hospital and they're like talking and they're just talking over each other and clearly not listening to each other. That would be a way more tense scene if there was like some score or something. But it's just like two people talking over each other.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It didn't feel like it needed.
There's also a very bad one-sided telephone call at the beginning.
Which one?
With when Danny gets there and Harold's on the phone, he's saying something. He's like, Brooklyn? Yeah, I'd love to go.
Oh, yeah, he's talking to like LJ or whatever, his friend. Yeah. Yeah, that was hilarious.
I was like, this is a terrible one-sided telephone call.
Yeah. Okay, let's agree to disagree on the whole dialogue thing. But did you think it was funny at all? Did you think that it hit the right beats comedically, or do you think they completely missed on that as well?
I think it was generally funny. It was kind of weird. Like I laughed at the jokes, and I thought that was. I mean, I think most of them were intentional. I laughed at least, but like I don't know, it just felt weird sometimes. Like some of the humor, considering how serious this the themes they're exploring are, and like losing a parent and reconciling with family and all that is like really heavy. And then look at the film student, she made a weird porn thing. I don't know, it feels like a weird tone shift sometimes. I think sometimes it does definitely work, but there are moments where it's like, this is unnecessary, and I know you're just trying to make it so we don't kill ourselves at the end of this movie, but I think there's more organic ways to do it sometimes.
Yeah, and I don't know, this might just be with my family or whatever, but when heavy situations like this happen, I feel like me and my family, we always just completely avoid the topic at hand, and we just say stupid shit and try to make each other laugh. So I think that tonally, for me, like that weird tonal shift, it was like, oh shit, yeah, that's kind of just how it goes for me personally. I think that's why I like this movie so much, because it hits really close to home for me.
Yeah.
And that's probably all it comes down to, is just like I had a more personal connection to this movie than you might have.
Yeah.
And it could totally be the same for anybody else who watches this movie. Like,
I think I also, just because they're kind of assholes just in general.
Yeah.
Like if I served them or something, so that makes me like them less. But
yeah. But I love that, because me and my entire family, we're just assholes to each other and to people, and it's just, we're all angry at each other and the world and this and that, and it makes it #relatable.
All right.
So do you have anything else to say?
Nope.
All right. Well, what are you gonna rate it? Because I know what I'm rating it.
I'm gonna give this movie a solid 5 out of 10. I didn't necessarily like super hate it. I know I kind of came off that way a bit, but it was just kind of like fine. Like I enjoy Wes Anderson, so having the one that's someone that to me feels like is trying to emulate that and doesn't do a bad job necessarily at doing it was nice. I don't think it totally fit for me, and I didn't totally love these characters, but it was still generally enjoyable.
I think you would definitely touch it. I think Marriage Story would be better for you.
Yeah,
I think it would hit more close to home, and the performances in that are definitely more emotionally charged than this one. I will say that. I'm giving this movie a 9 out of 10, just because it hits so close to home. It's such an emotionally charged experience, and it deals with a lot of heavy shit in a lighthearted but really sensitive way. So yeah. Fuck you,
buddy.
buddy.
Oh, the spelling thing. When you said this, and I wrote down in my notes, I wrote Meyerwood, like Mire wood, and then I googled it and learned how it was spelled, and I was like, what?
Meyerwood. That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, where does this go on to your list?
I want to put this like just above Swiss Army Man.
I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah,
that's perfect. Cuckoo, May.
Cuckoo. God damn it, fucking Photoshop. God fuck damn.
God my fucking damn.
Now this is
shout out to Chesterstone 1. All right, y'all. Is it episode 14?
Yes, this is ready for the big one next week.
The big one. All right, everybody. We have a fantastic special episode on the horizon. So for this week, we are going to recommend each other an EP and a short film, or like a short.
Yeah.
Whatever the technical term is.
Short film.
So that we can make room for a discussion that we're going to have next week about a organized tier list in terms of, a S tier, an A tier, B tier, C tier, etc. So what we're going to do next week, we're going to talk about the EP that we recommend and the short film that we recommend. And then we're also going to make our own separate tier lists, organized tier lists, and then we're going to come together to make a group tier list. And I think there's going to be a lot of arguments. I think there's going to be some curb stomping, American History X style. I think there's going to be, some limbs blown off. It's going to be a blast.
It's going to be great. And to do this, we're going to be using, of course, TierMaker, which is a popular website. And we're going to have the template up and created, and we'll put that out there. So if you're listening, you can go use that template, and you can actually make your own now and like follow along every week and put the stuff where you want it to. We'll be updating the template with the new posters and album covers so that now everyone gets to do it. Yay.
Show us why we're wrong.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Show us what you would do instead, and then we'll just block you.
Get blocked.
All right. Well, then what are we listening to, Lane?
Okay. I have to find the exact title for this EP, but it is an EP that I've been listening to for a couple years now, actually. The fuck is it called? Okay. So it's an EP that was released in 2013 by the electronic producer Chrome Sparks, and it's called Sparks EP.
How'd they name that?
I don't know, man. Spark.
So that's Meyerwood, like Mire.
Yeah. So we're listening to, it's 27 minutes long. It's a super fast listen. and it's a lot of fun. There's a song called Marijuana on it.
Oh.
So it's a little naughty.
Oh, no, not naughty. We didn't listen to a song called Heroin.
You're right. What are we watching, B?
This week, I was actually really interested when I saw this on shortoftheweek.com. But it is a sci-fi short film called Dominant Species. I've never seen, I don't watch a lot of shorts, but this looks interesting. The description says queer sci-fi about 10 aliens in human host bodies learning how to be men on a mission to impregnate human women and perpetuate their species.
Cool.
It's rated mature,
interesting.
so
Ooh, naughty.
ooh, maybe some pee-pee.
How long is it? Do you know?
It's just under 20 minutes.
Perfect. Now, here's a decision we also have to make. Do we put these in the tier list as well, or is this just kind of a side thing?
Yeah, I say we put them in.
Fuck it. Let's do it.
Fuck it, this is our show now.
Yeah, fuck you. We're professionals, and we run our own show. Raid Shadow Legends. Please email us. We will sell our bodies for you.
Thank you, Raid Shadow Legends, and the entire country of Poland.
Thank you, Poland. Thank you, Raid Shadow Man.
How long do you think we could claim we're sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends before they take legal action?
Dude, we could probably get away with it for like a year. Like, unless they like do some, they have a robot that just scans all audio on the internet for the words Raid Shadow Legends. And then sends a cease and desist letter in the mail.
That'd be epic.
Sue us. We fucking dare you.
Do it. I'm not coming back for 30%. I'm coming back for everything. So you
For
better
the whole pizza pie.
So you better lawyer up, asshole.
Call back.
All
Who remembers
right.
that? Who remembers that?
I do.
Call back.
I remember.
Me.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Go listen to Sparks CP. Go watch Dominant Species. Go make your own tier list. Go follow us on Instagram at onefortheother.podcast.
Yeah.
And then email us at onefortheotherpodcast@gmail.com. Send us your cock. We haven't gotten any the dick pics. We're supposed to rate them. We're gonna have a whole episode dedicated to it, but I guess now we're not. So
And you wonder why this episode is a week late, and you wonder, you know?
yeah, you wonder. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, don't forget
Pal.
to just like burn down any building.
Burn it down to the ground.
Straight up,
Whether it be
do
a fire department. Ultimate irony. Burn down a fire department. That's the ultimate message we're giving to the children.
This is how we will be remembered.
When we're in prison for conspiracy of arson. And we'll see you next week. This is me, Boom Jams.
Bomb. Okay.
I have the fucking sniffles, and I have to record a fucking podcast. Thank you, Pollen. This podcast sponsored by Pollen. Jared Polis.
This podcast sponsored by the entire country of Poland. Thank you, Poland.
Thank you, Poland, for making my nose. Anyways.
Fuck me, right?